Somewhere in this image right now, something is on fire, and a satellite 250 miles overhead noticed it before anyone on the ground called it in. Those small red marks scattered across the frame. Each one is a thermal anomaly flagged by an instrument called VIIRS, flying aboard the NOAA satellite Suomi. It doesn't take pictures of flames. It reads heat. Any patch of ground running hot enough to stand out from its surroundings gets flagged automatically every 12 hours or so. What you're looking at is essentially a heat map of where the land is literally on fire right now on July 1st. Along the California coast and into the northern part of the state, running down the center left of the frame, there are a handful of lone red pixels, isolated. Each one is probably a fire, burning in terrain too rough for a road. Notice how thin the smoke is up here, or absent entirely. These might be small. A lightning strike from a dry storm, a campfire that got away. The satellite can't tell you the story. It just tells you something is hot. Now look across the center and right side of the image. This is where it gets busy. You can count at least 8 or 9 red dots clustered across what looks like the Great Basin and the Southern Rockies. And 2 of them aren't just dots. See those pale gray streaks drifting away from the hot spots. Those are smoke plumes, long enough to see from orbit. One of them stretches for what looks like dozens of kilometers to the upper right. That's not a campfire. That's a fire with its own weather. That single long diagonal plume, cutting toward the right side of the frame, is the one that really stops you. Smoke at that scale, visible from 250 miles up, means a fire that's moving fast and throwing embers ahead of itself. The terrain below it is that dark, shadowed canyon country. Dry fuel, broken ground, afternoon wind. The satellite doesn't know any of that. It just sees the heat signature and draws a dot. Everything else is what we piece together afterward. What gets me is the scale. You're looking at a chunk of the American West, roughly 1,500 kilometers across, and the fires burning in it right now look like freckles. Tiny. And yet each one of those red pixels is hot enough to read from space, which means it's very, very hot on the ground. We'll be back tomorrow with whatever the data shows next. Subscribe so you don't have to remember to check.